Hey guys, it's me, man, Action, bringing us some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. I can't be bothered to do a recap. I swear, because doing recaps is really difficult because I don't record these like all I want one go. It's like, and I'm not 100% sure about what happened last part, but I know most of it. So basically, how Iris was talking about how she saw Maya kill Mr. Khalees in the last part. But that can't be true because, well, we know Maya's not the kind of person to kill someone. And on top of that, you have the fact that she's there was a couple of contradictions in her last statement. Now she's talking about she's detailing what exactly happened in the battle. Uh, yeah. You know what's funny? I was recording this part earlier, but what happened was I forgot that I had accidentally paused the entire freaking thing. So, luckily I wasn't that far into it. So, yeah, the good thing is that I wasn't that far into this part, so it's not gonna be a pain in the ass to redo it. But man, I didn't even realize it was paused until much later. So yeah, I already know like most of this dialogue. Um, what was she talking about in that one? But then she dropped Mystic Elite's next attack and stole her weapon. What happened to the victim's staff? She's not very sure, and she can. Yeah, this is. She's talking about how it was dark. She couldn't really see anything. Dagger was stuck to the lantern. Okay, Mr. Maya picked it up. Okay, suddenly Mystic Elise was on the defensive with back to the stone lantern. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? But Mr. Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life is in danger. Yeah. I can't really imagine Maya being that kind of person. Well, we know, but that doesn't really matter in the court of law. Like anyone can kill anyone, and it doesn't really matter. What keeps society together is that everyone at least is a decent human being. Is that, and also that there's punishment for people who do that stuff. Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost. Thought it was dark. This is the thing. Like, she says the garden was dark and she couldn't really tell. So, doesn't that mean her entire testimony means nothing? That's what I'm thinking. Like, whatever, man. Like, it doesn't really make sense. If it was dark and she couldn't really see properly, what is her testimony really worth? It's not really worth anything. She doubled over and fell to the ground. So she was stabbed in the stomach. Very important that. Iris thinks that she was stabbed in the stomach. Where did the dagger go? I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see. We know where it came from. It was in the tree, I think. After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? She used to stare at Maya for a while. Mr. Maya stood there not moving an inch. What the hell happened that night? Like, a lot of this has been chasing a lot of loose threads, but we still aren't. It just feels like we still aren't close to finding out what really happened, because somehow, at least Dunim, or as we know her, what's her name? I think it's Yeah, Misty Faye. Yeah, she was killed in that place with the stone lantern, and then she was moved to the courtyard at the other temple, and then somehow, some way, she was moved in the middle of all that, and somehow, some way, Elise's I mean, yeah, Dahlia Hawthorne is somehow like fits to this. She's dead, but she somehow fits into this. But anyway, remember what I said earlier about how how Iris thinks that Mystic Elise was stabbed in the stomach? That's actually wrong. If you look at her autopsy report, Elise was killed due to a stab from in the back, not a stab in the stomach. That was a pretty easy contradiction to do. It's pretty easy if you're just paying attention. What I tend to do with this game is like what I do is read what they have to say, press every statement, read what they have to say, remember what they've said, all the important stuff they said, and then look through your court record, look at the evidence, and see what doesn't quite match up. That's the best way of getting through this game. Phoenix Wright games have never been difficult. I mean, they can be difficult, but I remember, I think the last case of the first game, that was hard. That was really hard to go through the first time. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Because there was just a ton of stuff that you could do wrong, and there was a ton of like little traps that they set up, and you just weren't ready for it. But this game is a bit more straightforward. You can kind of figure out some stuff, even though some stuff isn't always logical. I think these games have a point to them. I mean, if you treat them like visual novels, they're very, very good visual novels. But if you treat them as like detective games and using reasoning, they don't really stand up with like other games. Like there are not many great detective games in gaming, because it's very difficult to allow the player to make them feel like they're smart in figuring something out without making it feel like they're being tethered towards something. You know what I mean? True deduction and the feeling, the rush you get when you work something out is when you feel like you've worked it out by yourself, instead of the game kind of holding your hand and telling you, like, making it pretty obvious what the answers are. I mean, this game does a good job of doing that. The series does as a whole, and because they have such interesting characters, it kind of pulls it all together, and it benefits from having that structure. Now he's gonna bring up the stone lantern, which we saw, I think, when we were there. And now he's talking about how the lantern, how it usually is supposed to be lighted at night, but because the wick on the lantern is so bad, it hasn't been used in like ages. So it was actually really dark. And then again, I say this again, if she couldn't really see anything, how much is that testimony worth? Because she can't see Jack. So if she can't see who was there, then what was the point? And what Godo is saying, that the only two people that could have been there were Elise and Maya. Those are the only two people that were there. But it just doesn't seem like... I don't know, man. It just doesn't really add up, obviously. And that's where we're here to find out what does add up. It says, oh yeah, we know about this. We saw it earlier. How the Stone Lantern has Maya backwards, and the reason why Iris, after being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the Stone Lantern behind her with the blood that was draining from her body, which is extremely grim. Imagine using your own blood to write. That's nasty. It reminds me of that episode of Simpsons where Sideshow Bob, he wants to like mess with Bart, so he's using like his own blood to write messages, but then he then he collapses due to blood loss. Oh my god. Uh the whole like Sideshow Bob thing in The Simpsons is so freaking weird. It's you have a serial killer out for your like 10-year-old son, like, and like nobody really cares about Bart. I know it's like early Simpsons was really good. Everyone likes it. Up to around I think season 4 was when people said it started going downhill, or season 7. I'm not 100% sure. There was a specific episode where people attribute the Simpsons downfall. It was the episode where it's called The Principal and the Pauper, where like Seymour Skinner isn't Seymour Skinner, but he's actually some other guy who took Seymour Skinner's place, and like a lot of people didn't really like the episode, and people kind of cite it as the reason, as the downfall of the Simpsons. I mean, the Simpsons is still going on, which is nuts. Um, in general, but the thing is, like, the Simpsons was so ahead of its time, but now in the current climate of the world, everything that the every time that anytime that the Simpsons does anything, um, that's how it says to you. Every time that the Simpsons does anything that like critiques modern life, uh, the present or the past, it just doesn't. It seems out of date. You know, The Simpsons was ahead of its time when it came out. Like, there was a ton of stuff that it was able to say, and but now it's kind of still there. I mean, it's still, the fact that it's still going is still crazy to me, but it's not as good as it once was, and I don't think it'll ever go back to where it was in the past. South Park, on the other hand, is constantly changing. A lot of people weren't happy with like season 20. Season 20, where a lot of people didn't like it because it was very political. Season 20, very political. It was all about what was going on in America at the time. Now that Trump is president and all of that stuff, and you know, it concentrated on more long form storylines instead of what it used to do, which was every episode was its own thing. And you know, they have a very interesting way of doing. South Park is just very interesting. But the thing is, it's like modern life is so crazy right now, especially with Trump being president. It's like any and all. It's like life in general is a joke. Like, you know what I mean? Modern life has become so crazy that it it almost becomes a parody of itself. It's crazy. Anyway, back to the game. I spent a good 3 minutes there talking about cartoon shows, adult cartoon shows. It's just the artist's cover up. Um, after this girl died, I call it Miss Maya. She's trying to hide everything. No, it's not like that. She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes, when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? If that was Mystic Maya, if it was, what did she say? That it finally dawned on me what she had done. I thought it was my duty to said the future master of a Korean tradition. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey. Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, the Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. So I removed the body. That was the weird thing. Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. You removed the body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. Snow, huh? Wait a minute, for snow. No, she didn't finish that sentence, did she? I don't think. She didn't finish that sentence. It's pretty impossible. It's pretty amazing you were able to make it across the rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite sturdy. No, I can't read. Sturdy. Sturdy. It's like they say, idiots are too simple to catch even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into Eagle River? Good point. It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought this would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to throw the body as far away as possible. That doesn't make any sense! Throw in the river! Like, literally everything else. Like, I believe they talk about how the river is like so fast that like if you fell into it you'd probably never be found. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and snowmobile. I knew that coming. Yeah, it comes out eventually. She's the only one that has the key because I believe that was the word I was looking for. I believe that Sister Bikini was talking about how she doesn't use it. Should I ask her for more details? Of course you do. Let me hear about the snowmobile ride. Well, it was very cold that night. I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge. I'm sorry with this, but now I've got a problem with this testimony. Excuse me? You're the prosecutor. You're supposed to... That night, after the head nun left the remainder of training to you, she said she walked back from inner temple. The inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on that subject. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple... Oh yeah, the snowmobile was already there. The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? Why would the prosecutor be looking for contradictions? That's our job, hey, Mr. Godo, that's our job. Yeah, that's like a good point. Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, maybe she didn't see it. You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Huh. Whatever. Even I don't think it's decisive enough to warrant any time or effort. It's just, you better be careful with your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. What's that all about? Why go to one to give me a hint? It's bait. That's what I'm looking for. It's bait. He's baiting us. I thought that way Mr. Wright would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyway. Then I used the pseudo to open the way they look. Ouch. Is that what you were doing when Sister Bikini saw you? Yes, that's right. She probably thought the worst. Probably, more like definitely. You were stabbing a massive sword into a person's back. Like, how do you mistakenly... Like, there's no other way you can take that. There's no other way you can rationalize that. Otherwise, oh my god. Unless you're crazy. That's crazy. Oh. I don't know what to believe it, but I think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. Well, why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. She's trying to cover for someone. Oh yeah, this part. There was another part to the thing, isn't it? Let me just skip through it. Get to the about the tracks. If you really did move her if you move her body by the snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally, he's supposed to track. The picture was presented at yesterday's trial. There are only one set of tracks. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple. I see. Snow was still falling, huh? And then, when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? I'm just gonna say it's very important. When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. This doesn't make sense if you stack it up with the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. But does it have anything to do with the case? All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. This should be fun. Let's get the snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. By the time the snow already stopped. This time, are you sure it's true? Hold on. What was the murder done? 10 to 11 p.m. I think if I look at the weather report. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobiles were so clear. The snowmobile tracks were so clear. If the snow really had stopped by the time of the murder, then the movie The Grid Revelation is a bigger hole in the story than The Grid Revelations. What's The Grid Revelations? Is he talking about The Matrix? Is that a reference to The Matrix? The Matrix, I think so. Because I know that the two Matrix movies after the first one aren't really well received. A lot of people don't really like them. I'm not sure. I've never been a big fan of like The Matrix and stuff like that. I should do that. Okay, come on. Alright, so there's clearly a ton of stuff wrong with that statement. I'll drag it across this bridge. So I really didn't avoid myself. Directly behind this bridge, did I use this caravan? I use this. Oh yeah, it was on fire, wasn't it? Yes, she couldn't have done it because Dusty Bridge was on fire. You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred, but I'm sorry, Iris. That's just not. That is just impossible. Oh yeah, the other part is that the snow. I thought the Dusky Ridge was on fire. That does not fit into this. Yeah, the snow didn't stop until 10:15, but you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at the time. Yes, because he was on fire. Yes, I was right. I was. He was talking about the snow. I didn't thought about the snow, but I knew that Dusky Bridge was on fire, so she couldn't have crossed that bridge. What is she talking about? It can't be. It can't be. It's true, woman. It's damn true. You can't pull the wool over her eyes. Nope. She's constantly lying. Her testimony is just all over the place. That bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right. The inner temple was already totally cut off. There's no way she could have crossed the bridge. Ah! Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? She's trying to hide for someone, I don't know who. The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not does not mean squat right now. Squad? What do you mean? If she's her lying, it doesn't mean anything. What the hell? The important thing now is to find out the truth, isn't it? Alright? True, but she's straight up lying. Like none of what she says matters. Like there are two facts you can't dispute. One, first, the body of Elise Dinin was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard, and second, the head nun, Sitsukini, witness Iris desecrating Elise Dinin's body. He makes a good point on both accounts. That's right, I'm not lying. What are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself all the time, so my memory is still somewhat hazy. Aye vey. You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It's only human to if you're so perfect, right? Maybe you can explain this to the court. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burned down. And somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of explanation for this little magic trick. That's what I think. I have an idea. I just have this idea of I think that stone pillar thing, right? I think underneath it is like some sort of secret passage that goes underground, and that somehow allows you to go to Hazakura Temple. That's what I think. You're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Let's hear the testimony once more. About what, Your Honor? You've admitted that the victims. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony? And we will see her final testimony in the next part, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, that was a lot of stuff. Is she lying to us again, or will she actually tell the truth this time? Who knows? Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys later for some more things, right? Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations.